But don't look in your rearview mirror, here comes number 8. He's a rocker, little roller, and he sure knows how to shut him down. I guess he runs independent until the dead is back in town. Yeah, I guess he runs independent until the dead is back in town. That boy, stand up, son.
And welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Bob Fan 101, with my co-host Christian, aka Savage NASCAR.
What's up, guys? It's been a minute since we've done a Nasboys news episode,
Yes.
NASCAR related, but we do have an episode for y'all. A lot of stuff to get into. A lot of stuff been going on over the past couple of weeks. We have to share it.
Yes.
And, it's Christmas week as well, so hope y'all are enjoying your time off, if you do have time off from school or from work and all that, and spend it with family. Looking forward to this coming weekend and all that. So let's get right into this.
Yeah, happy holidays, everybody. I'm sure when I upload this, it's going to be a couple days to Christmas or Christmas Eve, depending on when I get this video out. Enjoy your holiday break, spend time with family, and let's get right into the NASCAR news. Matt Crafton, Haley Deegan, and Chandler Smith all returned to their respective truck teams. Starting this off with something that's not at all surprising. Crafton's been with Thor Sport for the longest time. Deegan is very marketable and did decent for DGR, and I think that she'll improve on her results with practice and qualifying back.
Yeah, I have to agree. Not unexpected. We all knew. We knew to probably be re-signing, and Chandler Smith had a pretty impressive season. It wasn't the best, but he did pretty good, so it doesn't surprise me.
Better than most of his season.
One thing about Haley Deegan, I'm sorry to cut back from you, Mike, but she's done some dirt track racing recently, and I was doing a race for Dirt Vision last month, which she was at, and it was at a Millbridge Speedway, and she took a tumble, but unfortunately, one of the people that was with me forgot to save the recording, so we do not have footage of it. But it was pretty funny to see live. I was just sitting there. It was during a commercial break and all that, and I just see her walking towards turn 4 and just literally slipped and fell. She got back up. Everyone was laughing and all that, but man, I wish there was footage of it.
That sucks. 23XI officially has a charter. I believe they acquired the 00 charter. So good for them. Kurt Busch can officially make races, even though we already knew he was going to make it off speed alone.
Yeah.
Josh Williams will not return to DGM and has signed for BJ McLeod Motorsports. I don't really know how to feel about this because Josh had a pretty solid season. He did get them a couple top 10s, mostly top 15. So he was very impressive. I don't know if it was a mutual agreement or if one of them was just like, get out. But I said, bruh, this was a good move and the team, or this was a bad move and the team liked my comment. So I don't know. What happened there. And I don't really care. He is signing with BJ McLeod Motorsports. I don't know if that's a good move or not. So we'll see if he can build on his results.
I have to agree with you. I think it's a bad move. Josh Williams he was improving, I feel like, with the team, and he's doing better than he was the previous year. And, I wonder whoever's running the social media account definitely agrees that it was a bad move.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate, but we'll see what he does with BJ McLeod Racing and all that. So can't really say anything else about it.
So there was something happening with Mike Harmon Racing. They had a charity event which Christian was at. He can explain more of that in a little bit. But they were racing, or not racing, but like driving on Rockingham for a charity event that was put on by a couple of YouTubers. And NASCAR got word of it and gave them a fine, and they appealed it and lost the appeal. So, Christian, what do you have to say about this since you were kind of close to the original source?
So, Mike, I have to correct you about a couple things. It was not officially a charity event, but there was a charity event there. And for those who don't know about this situation, I actually made a whole video about this like a couple weeks ago. So if y'all haven't watched that, go watch that because I explain it all. But basically, it was how do I describe? I have to basically how to describe it is I have to share from the beginning. My car racing, they've been involved with charities for a while, and I was there filming at the event, Motorsports for the Masses event. There's a stock car group there. There's a charity event, and Mike Harmon Racing decided to show up there and be able to drive around the track. They weren't testing anything. They didn't have like a computer or any tracking devices or anything like that. They did have spotters of the track for the people going out when there's multiple cars on track at once with the vintage stock cars. And for even Mike Harmon was out there with the vintage stock cars, and he hit the wall at one point as well. But I got to meet him, so that's kind of cool as well. But it's just it frustrates me about the rule book. Yes, they did break the rule, which I think is a stupid rule because if this was years ago, they wouldn't have gotten penalized. It's a small team. And yeah, they did have a current car, but at the same time, the current car was from this past season. It's the next gen car coming up. So why would they be like, oh, make a big deal about it? It's literally the off season. They had a Dodge from 2012 and they had a Chevy that was current. So it just shows how inconsistent it is. And they penalized them 6 races and fined them a whole lot of money, which they don't have. And they were there supporting a charity event as well that was there. And it's just ridiculous. Yeah, they did break the rule, but at the same time, they weren't testing. They weren't doing it to intentionally to break a testing rule. And that's what some people have to understand. There's a lot of people that are upset about it, but at the same time, there's people that agree with NASCAR in this, which is okay. People have their opinions, but it frustrates me because I was there. I knew what was going on, and I knew that it was wrong that they penalized them. But it's just crazy that NASCAR is like, oh, you can't go test at a track that was raced at by the Cup Series almost 20 years ago.
Right.
And yeah, they are restoring North Wilkesboro and Nashville. We'll get into Nashville in a little bit, and Rockingham. But at the same time, it's not like you're testing there to go race their next season. I mean, good grief, NASCAR. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think it's pretty stupid, to be quite honest with you, Mike. And you see my video about it as well, Mike. And it's just a mess.
See, I have mixed opinions on it because I'm not going to let it bother me and I have to complain about it like I do with some other topics. But I see both points of view because on one hand, I didn't realize the car was current because it looked like an older body style. I saw the Dodge and then I saw the Camaro, and the Camaro looked like it was older from 2018, for example. So I didn't really know, but it was apparently a current car that was racing. But at the same time, if they do use that equipment, because the Xfinity cars, I don't think are getting a new car, so Mike Harmon could still use that car. But if they didn't have any computers or any data to figure out what to do with it, I don't think it was anything but Harmon should have just stuck with the Dodge or brought another Dodge or a late car that he had.
They had other cars there too. They had a truck car that was not of their teams, but they had one of their friends doing that, and then they had another car as well. But they were working on the car, yes, but they weren't using it for technical purposes or to get data and all that. Right. Anyway, from what I saw, I was there filming alongside the track, and they were not going full speed. In my opinion, they were not going full speed. There was a guy there, one of my friends, Cody Dennison. He's a YouTuber. There was YouTubers there, like you mentioned, but it was not run by YouTubers. I know the guy who runs the event, and the guy who runs the event was like, "Man, I didn't think we caught up in this controversy." Like
Right.
he was like, "I did not expect this to happen at all," and I was like, "Yeah, man, I have to agree with you, dude. I did not expect this to happen." But yeah, the one guy, Cody, Camelot 331, he was there with his 12 Ryan Newman car, and he was pulling laps like he was zooming, and he was going way faster than a lot of the other cars there. And it's not like Harmon was doing that. Like he wasn't doing that. So it's just like I just don't get it, bro. It's just a whole confusing situation, and I don't really know what else to say about it.
Yeah. I should have said stock car enthusiast event at the beginning, so my apologies. Um, Todd Gilliland will drive the 38 car in Cup, and Zane Smith will drive the 38 in trucks. That's a pretty blockbuster move right there. I didn't expect that. Todd Gilliland is getting rushed. He should have had some time in Xfinity because he's a good driver, but more so for Xfinity, not for Cup. I think he's going to have a similar downfall to Anthony Alfredo. And Zane Smith, that's pretty interesting. Good move for front row. I know that GMS, they have a lot of financial trouble with how they are bringing their team to Cup, which we'll get into in a little bit.
You know, Todd Gillen, I've met him and I've talked to him before, and I like he's one of my favorite drivers in the Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and now Cup. You know, I will say that I am surprised he's moved up this fast, but you know, I hope he does well and all that. I don't think he'll be immediate success, that's for sure. But we'll see what happens. I don't think he'll do bad. You know, I think he'll do decent, but we'll see where it goes. Zane Smith, that was a good move having him in the 38. So that's not bad about that.
Nashville's mayor has approved plans to renovate Fairground Speedway and to bring NASCAR back there. That's great news. I know that they raced at Nashville last season, and they are planning to race there this coming season in 2022. So that's very exciting to see. Maybe we could have the throwback race there or another throwback race there. Who knows what could happen with that. Also, I know you mentioned North Wilkesboro and Rockingham could potentially be revamped in term to come back.
Yeah, for sure. You know, Nashville Fairgrounds, I've been hoping to go back there. They used to have like weekly racing there and all that, and then there's the Karens making a big deal about the noise. The track's been there for 100 years, or like around 90 to 100 years, and you move into the neighborhood knowing there's a racetrack there. What do you expect? But
Right.
nevertheless, you know, I'm glad they won the appeal, or not the appeal, but I'm glad they won and got the rights to basically return there because they've been talking about it for a little bit. It's been a big discussion. I know Darrell Waltrip was at one of the town hearings about the case and the possibility of the return of National Fairgrounds Speedway. And Darrell Waltrip used to race there and dominate there for a while too, because Darrell Waltrip he won a lot of races in Tennessee. But nevertheless, it's really cool to see them trying to get things redone there. I don't know how much they're going to like put money into Nashville Fairgrounds, but I know Dale Jr.'s behind it as well. So there's probably be a lot of big changes, more stands and all that as well, bigger parking lots. So that's really cool to see.
Yeah, very cool. And for the lady who's complaining, first of all, why would you build a house next to a racetrack? And for two, why would you move into a house near a racetrack?
Well, I mean, they built houses there around, I want to say they started building a lot of houses there around the 90s and early 2000s. They started
Okay.
to add some more houses around there. And there's also a school not far from the track, so people are making a big deal about it being too loud for school. But first off, school gets out early, like around 4, so the racing doesn't start till 6ish. So I don't see how that's an issue.
Right. That's not an issue at
Because
all.
I know some people, they've been saying, oh, after school, we used to go down to the track and watch racing, you know, and they enjoyed that. So, you know, there's always the Karens and the people that make big deal about nothing.
Gotta complain, yeah. Richard Petty Motorsports has agreed to sell a majority interest in GMS. Ty Dillon will now be driving the 42 instead of the 94, and Eric Jones will stay in the 43. that's another blockbuster move that I didn't expect. And like I mentioned earlier, GMS was basically killing off most of their drivers and I guess releasing them from their contracts, and they've moved on to other teams. So pretty interesting stuff there. I didn't expect that happening.
Yeah, like I'll be honest with you, when Ross Chastain wasn't going to be in the 42, I was like, man, because I thought he was just fine in the 42 car. I really enjoyed him being in it, but 42 going to Richard Petty Motorsports, which is now GMS, sort of. It's pretty cool to see him back with that team, the 42, 43 car, because they used to have the 42 for a little bit, if I'm correct. And I know they had the 44 as well for some period in the 45. So we'll see what happens. Ty Dillon, I don't think he's going to do too well. I think he's going to have a tough year.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. He'll probably do decent on like a restrictor plate track, but the other tracks, I think, just Richard Petty Motorsports, they've been struggling so much over the last 5 years.
And here's a quick fact: my cousin's husband is actually the crew chief for Ty Dillon. So
oh yeah,
that's something to look out for.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. That's pretty cool.
Landon Castle will drive the number 10 for colleague. Another blockbuster move. Finally glad to see Landon Castle getting in some decent equipment. He was always in kind of lower tier equipment, with his last ride being at Starcom and some Xfinity starts with JDM and Morgan Shepherd. So Castle's really good at keeping the car clean, so we'll see how he does. I think he could be, I think maybe a top 20 driver. I don't think he'll be very successful, but I think he'll do a good job keeping the car clean like he always does.
I think it's a W for sure. Lane Castle, he's had some good chances, but at the same time, he's been getting lower rides, and he keeps falling down to Xfinity in the back of Cup for a little bit, in the back of Xfinity. So we'll see where things go with him being in the 10. Jeb Burden's not there anymore, so I was hoping Jeb would stay in the 10, but nevertheless, just contract things and all that happened. So. Colleague also, our next topic was to be about colleague racing as well. Justin Haley dropped the 31 for them in the Cups team. I think that AJ Allmendinger should be in the 31 instead of him. That's just my opinion, because I think AJ has more experience. He used to be in the Cup Series, and he's done better than Haley, so I think he should be in there instead of him. But nevertheless, I still think they have a really good lineup. They also have Noah Gragson going to be doing some part-time with them as well. Same thing as Daniel Hemrick. So
yeah, I don't think that
really
Allmendinger. Sorry, Zoom things. I don't think Allmendinger wanted to race a full season in Cup anymore. I think he's just fine where he is in Xfinity. At least that's what I read somewhere from how he felt about it. I personally thought they should have picked him, but Haley's not a bad choice. I think he's a good driver. He'll be very successful on the super speedways. And that's a very interesting move. That 16 car has an all-star lineup right there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
We got Our Motorsports. They have a really good lineup, in my opinion. Their three drivers will be Anthony Alfredo, Jeb Burton, and Brett Moffitt. Here's an early season prediction. I think that Brett Moffitt will actually get his first win this year.
That's not a bad prediction. I'll be honest with you. Was Our Motorsports name sound different before? Because I don't recognize that name until I saw that news break.
Nope, it's always been Our Motorsports.
And I don't know why I didn't see that till now. I guess I'm a casual Xfinity fan, but but nevertheless, Jeb Burton, he's one of my favorite drivers. Hope he's going to do well with them. Alfredo, I feel like he just rushed the Cup, so him being Xfinity's, it's not a bad move. And Brett Moffitt, he's been trying to get a lot of sponsorship. He's been trying to get his way back up towards the Xfinity Series, more experience there instead of just trucks. So I think they have a good lineup, but I don't think they're going to be like any of their drivers are going to be like top 8 in points, in my opinion.
Of course.
But yeah, I think they'll definitely get a win, maybe 1 or 2, but we'll see what happens.
I think at least one of their cars is going to make the playoffs. Of course, as I said, win and you're in. But Yeah, I think maybe 1, 2 of their cars could make it. They got a pretty solid lineup. Jeb, I think, is right where he belongs, and Alfredo, glad he finally decided to go down to Xfinity. So that should be very interesting.
Yeah, I have to agree. And there was also one thing too. I just thought of NASCAR posted a picture of what they said the LA Coliseum is going to look like for the
Mhm.
Clash, and they're making it look like it's going to be like insane. Like in the picture they showed, the graphic looked incredible. Does the track going to look like that? I don't know. I don't think it'll look like that. But if it does look like that, sheesh.
Yeah, it looks really good. Um, I'm still not that big of a fan of the move, but the track looks really good.
Yeah.
And finally tonight, Chase Purdy will be driving the 61 truck for Hattori Motorsports. Like I said, one more time, GMS is downsizing because, well, they're putting all their emphasis into Cup. I still don't know why they're putting their emphasis into Cup because they had a good truck team. But okay, Cup, that brings more money if you have a talented lineup, and they have a pretty decent lineup. So we'll see how that goes. But Chase Purdy, he's not really going to do that well. He wrecked out most of the races in the truck season. I think he had like 1 or 2 good races. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's a great move for Hattori moving on from Austin Hill, who is going down to Xfinity. The Xfinity lineup, off topic, is really, really stacked. I think there's going to be a good playoff field, unlike the last couple of years. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think it would be much closer in regard to wins and points and all that in Xfinity Series. Truck Series, I don't think it'll be as good as this past year.
Of course.
But I think, yeah, they're just down bad with a lot of their moves. GMS has been making pretty down bad. But we'll see. I've never disliked Richard Petty Motorsports, so we'll see what they could do. Hopefully, they could prove us wrong.
Yeah, and with that, that will conclude this week's episode of Nasboys NASCAR. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for putting up with the constant sports updates while we get more NASCAR news. We got some more NASCAR videos coming in the works, so stay tuned. We're gonna talk about paint schemes next, review all the paint schemes from this past season, and rank our top paint schemes. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Follow our socials, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Merry Christmas, y'all.